Hey everybody! Welcome back to Northernlion, place of binding by AFTERBIRTH Plus. And the last two challenges were like a joke. Wacka Wacka is like a Pac-Man, or sorry, Game Kid, not to infringe on copyrights. We've only failed two on the way. Okay, so it's Game Kid and maybe like a bunch of battery charge items. Yeah, totally. 7 KIP ZZ3M, not that that matters, I guess. It's actually, oh, because we make, like, power pellets. I see. I was just incorrect. So this is actually, like, a fairly tough challenge. I don't remember how we did on this the first try, but I do seem to recall saying the words Waka Waka a lot, and I'm not the kind of guy who starts the challenge and then just goes, Waka Waka. You know, that's the Fozzie Bear sort of thing. So I think that probably means that it might have been a little bit of a, you know, touch-and-go situation the first time. I cannot say for certain. I will say I could completely understand how a run like this would go south. My hope is that we can avoid that, but we'll see. What do we need to make this pop? Piercing shots, high damage, high rate of fire. Freezing tears are another tear effect that has, like, you know, similar sort of value. Or like a lot of HP would also be pretty good. I'm a little embarrassed with that damage we took there, but can always go back for those other red hearts as is necessary. I'm kind of, I'm trying to play the game's game right now. But if we can find alternative ways to win, that's fine by me as well. I don't know why that sounded so, suspicious. If we could find alternative ways to win. Wink, wink. If we could defeat Mom and win the challenge, for example. I don't know what this voice is, but it hurts me a great deal to continue doing it. Really, that's Paul F. Tompkins' voice, so I'm not gonna claim ownership of that. Death card, very nice. Or should I say, very nice. I'm gonna use it right away. Better for rooms like that than for bosses, so I feel like that was incredibly justifiable. Pin is actually probably... Disregard. Pin is a nightmare. And love is a battlefield. I was gonna say Pin's like our ideal choice for this present situation. That is ignorant of me. Apparently, Pin is actually a waking existential threat. Because he is incredibly affected by the anti-gravitational field of our tears, so we really only want to shoot when he's in that situation right there. Luckily, we made it. We got a tears upgrade. We got some extra HP. We got enough money for an arcade, which we really want in order to get Blood Bag. Is the big one there. Let's see what else we can pick up here, though. That was a decent finish to that floor at the very least. So the right way to handle this is to get... Oh, the bombs actually attract as well? I didn't know that. Might seem a little weird, but I don't think... Well, I didn't see the Tinted Rock. But until then, I was like, I don't think we should use the bomb to get a key necessarily, because we're going to use very few keys over the course of this run, and bombs, on the other hand, could be extremely valuable. The screw is a little bit of a double-edged sword, but not really. Like, it's still valuable. The downside to it is still very valuable, actually. It almost doubled our rate of fire, but the downside to it is, you know, the more tiers that are on the map, the more... things we have that influence the gravity. I really thought that was not gonna hit. So a bit of a bummer there, but actually it's an extreme bummer because there's a lot of deal with the devil items that could work out really well for us. We still got a chance. It's just a worse chance. I actually thought you were a stone man from old Valyria, but luckily we got out of it without being too afraid for our lives. If we can find a secret room, that'd be nice. We're doing well on consumables. Dude, Nose Goblin is potentially extremely good. In most situations, it's pretty good, but if this leads to us being able to stick enemies, especially if our damage improves, just stick enemies and then run away, I'm a happy camper. I think we'll check for one secret room, and then after that, we'll just leave. It's not that I don't want to go to the shop, it's that I want to preserve our bombs. So Larry Jr., presumably also somewhat affected here. He's got a cool little, like, you know, hyperbola going on there. Hyperbola is actually like a a mathematics thing, right? I know that parabola is as well. This is now I've got to, like, test my nerd cred. Hyperbola. A hyperbola is a symmetrical open curve formed by the intersection of a circular cone with a plane at a smaller angle with its axis than the side of its cone. Yeah, what are you, stupid idiot? You didn't know what a hyperbola is? It's a symmetrical open curve formed from the intersection of a cone with a plane that has an angle with its axis lower than the side of the cone. Are you just like... We learned that in 2nd grade. I didn't learn that in 2nd grade. I was poked, that was to pull the veil back. I was making a joke about the internet. And how, like, if you ever talk about anything related to school, it's always like, you didn't learn that until then? Look, I am not a genius, but I'm somewhat bright. I've lived in this brain and body for 28 years. I know my limitations. I know my strengths and I know my limitations. Verbally, I think I'm a pretty strong verbal reasoner. Spatially, idiotic. Just actually like a 1 out of 10 on the tech tree and the skill tree there. Used to be illogical as well, but programming has helped short circuit that a little bit, which is nice. But anyway, I'm gonna tell you a bunch of things that will make you think that the education system in Canada is broken. We didn't learn about the existence of negative numbers until we were in 9th grade. Now, whenever people hear that, they always go, 9th grade? That's crazy. We learned about it in 6th grade. And then somebody from, Beijing comments, we learned about it in 2nd grade. And then somebody from the planet Zebulon goes, well, we learned about it when we were in -20, which would be, I guess, somewhat ironic. But, in the end, I don't think it matters all that much, The whole point, well, that's not totally true. I think the reason, I'm a staunch proponent of math education, by the way. I think the way we treat, I'm not Salman Khan, but the way that we teach math and talk about math in North America is very strange. We teach it as if it's something to be afraid of, and people go, oh, math, that's like you're either born with an ability to do math or you're not. Like, and if you're not born with it, then don't even try, right? But that's stupid. It's math. The reason I think that math education is important is because it teaches logical steps to doing things. It teaches processes. You got 2 numbers, you want to multiply them together, here's what you do. You got 2 equations, you want to solve them by substitution, here's how you do it. It's just like increasingly complex processes to learn, but they are all built on each other. So, if you take them piecemeal, it's not that difficult. But anyway, I don't think the point of math beyond like 4th grade is to like, hey, if you don't memorize the quadratic equation and you're 28 and you can't recall it immediately, then we've failed you as a math teacher. I think it's more, if we've taught you to respect logical processes, then they've succeeded in their goal then. But I'm getting a little bit up my own butt, I will admit. It's the same thing, like I get made fun of, and deservedly so, because I have a degree in biology and I never use it. I worked for it. I have the transcripts to prove it. But it is fair to say I don't have that much offhand knowledge that would blow your socks off when it comes to biology. But you know what, like a bachelor's degree in biology teaches you? How to, respect primary sources, respect stats, the confidence interval of statistical significance, and how to use the library, basically. And how to culture agar on a plate. I'll give you that one as well. Dude, a Thame could be 10 out of 10 here. Now, he might have wanted to take the nail, but anyway, I digress. I'm of the opinion that education is more about learning how to learn, at least in this point in time. Maybe not so when you're... Oh, we're so sad. Maybe not so when you're, in 1st grade. They're teaching you some very vital skills that almost everybody's going to use at that point. Here's how to read, for example, Here's how to add 2 numbers together. Here's how to subtract 2 numbers together. Or from one another, rather. Here's how to construct a sentence. Those are valuable. But I think, like, that stops being applicable, like, in your 1st year of high school. You stop learning skills that everybody's going to use on a regular basis, and instead they're like, well, we can't trust you to live on your own yet because you're 14, so we kind of got to keep you in this daycare, and we're just going to kind of like overlearn you for most professions, but it'll lead to you doing something that hopefully you enjoy later in life. Like, I took 2 years of high school physics. I'm not saying that makes me Neil Smoke deGrasse Tyson, but, you know, learned about lots of stuff. Optics, fluid dynamics, thermodynamics, how to use a calorimeter, inelastic, elastic collisions, etc., etc. I remember none of it. I could probably tell you what the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, and that's it, but it doesn't mean it was bad to learn. Are we on the last? We're on the last 2 floors. So here's how we win this. Worst case scenario, buy some spirit hearts, hopefully coast. Apart from that, the ideal for us is essentially, why pronounce it like that? Essentially, baby, I can't fight this much longer. I can't hit that note. It's getting stronger and stronger. I need a essential healing. Okay, don't take 2 hits. You can never afford to take 2 hits in that situation. Our luck stat is also garbage, by the way, but if we can just buy enough spirit hearts to keep ourselves doing okay here, we should be good. I recognize it looks like I'm playing like trash right now. Part of the reason for that is because it's a hard run, man. This is not an easy one. This Waka Waka nonsense is tearing me apart here. I'll pay 7 cents for a card, because if it's like a teleport card, it would have been amazing. Wheel of Fortune is just okay. It's not terrible. We can get some value out of it. Will we get 7 cents of value out of it? Probably not. We're also dealing with base damage. We're largely unconcerned because our rate of fire is better than base as a result of the Wheel of Fortune. As a result of the... Okay, well, so I'm a little mad because the slot machine would not let me pass. I'm not gonna belabor the point all that much, but I'm like a little upset about that one. I really thought we could just push past it, but it decided that that would not be tenable. But I think if we knock this one out, are we actually on 20 if we knock this one out? Like, we're on challenge 20 is what I mean to suggest there. Well, this is a bit of a nightmare. Just stick him with as many nose goblin tears as you can muster there. It's like compound interest. It's like slowly... Oh, some of them... I couldn't tell. It looked like they got sort of uninstantiated there, but... slowly gonna work them together here. I was really expecting to just walk into them and take a couple hits and use a Thame to kill them, but we crushed them like the new-fashioned way, so that's ideal. Definitely should have gotten the red hearts there, but dude... We're probably, as a result of this, gonna win. Old Bandage is fine as well. It doesn't need to pay out very much for us to win guaranteed. So, smart money, blow this thing up, get some cards. High Priestess, Moon. Kind of hoping for Onsus. A little bit of a garbage setup here, but we'll Moon it up. Might take us closer to the boss. We're kind of just racing against time at this point. Damage is still, I mean, base. Boy, you got my challenge run slipping away. Can't think of the words to make it tighter, Waka Wacka flame. I still can't say that. Can't you say that boom, ba-doom, boom, boom, ba-doom, boom damage? Got that super bass damage. It's okay, you know. One of these days. One of these days we're gonna get another thirsty level parody. The thing is, you gotta throw darts at the board to hit a bullseye. You guys ever think that darts is like the ultimate in games that lied to you? Why is the bullseye so special on a dartboard if the real thing that you want to hit the vast majority of the time is triple 20? Of all things, like I was taught to play darts by my father. It's not an exceptionally complicated game to learn, but definitely like the first question I ended up asking is like, so you actually are not aiming for the bullseye? In every piece of media, like, it just weirds me out because in archery, you aim for the bullseye. Why is darts like, darts is like, hey, we're like little archery, but by the way, we're completely different. This is where I shouldn't even talk about sports that are popular in the UK because I can't wait for the comments like, it's not called darts. They're called dart sports. It's called dorts. Look at this silly, colonial. Calling the game snooker. It's snooker. Head on down to the draft house. Pick up a lager. If you want, look, I don't actually hate the UK. I just find it, the thing that's frustrating about the UK is that they're us, but just slightly different, which just makes the disagreements that much more annoying because they're closer to home. Like, we went to the UK for, like, a Paradox thing for Hearts of Iron 4 2 years ago. 2.5 years ago now. And I was like, I came back and I was like, I haven't really had, I gotta be honest with you. Europeans, they're always talking about how good their beer is relative to North America. They always go, oh, LOL, North American beer. And you're like, well, actually, we have a burgeoning craft scene. And they're like, ha 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 ha! I only buy beers brewed by Trappist monks from the 13th century. Anyway, so I came back and I was like, you know what? I'm not trying to insult the whole country, because I was going in sight unseen, but I didn't have that many good beers in the UK. And I was trying to mix it up. You know, we went to some places that had, you know, outrageously large beer lists. Bearless. And then people went, well, did you get beers or did you get ales? And I said, well, they're the same thing. And they said, oh, you stupid colonial. No, they're not. Well, here they are. You don't get, if you don't go to a bar and you go, hey, I'll take a beer, and they go, sorry, this is an ale house. You know, ale is a type of beer here. It's just, why don't we just all get on the same page is what I'm trying to suggest. I'm very wary about this High Priestess card. Don't get hit by the things that hurt you for one full heart. We should have it. Okay, I'm never touching Boss Rush, I'll tell you that much. Get me out of this one, we finished it. Again, I feel like, okay, first off, Death's Touch, great unlock. I feel like whenever people go on this meme, they always go like, oh, things are stupid over there. That's not what I'm saying. Just that the fact that they're so close and yet so different is what makes things confusing. Although I will say, the fact that, you know, ales and beer are different things. Like if you go to an ale house, there's not going to be beer there. That's actually, it doesn't make any sense to me. But this is because it's colored by where I grew up as well, admittedly. I'm not without my own biases. That is a little silly, though. In my opinion. I will say there's probably some, you know, the snooker thing, I'm in the minority. At least the people who are aware of it, okay? There is a proper way to pronounce it, and I pronounce it incorrectly relative to the majority. You know, guilty. However, the ale and beer thing, I think, you know, let's let people not from the UK and not from Canada answer that, and we'll see who's in the majority, because I'm telling you, ale's a type of beer. It's like going to, oh, I went to a whiskey place, but they didn't have whiskey with an E, they only had a whiskey with a Y. And you're gonna say it's different, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm with you, but it's not so much different that I'd be like, I'd expect to find a place that was that, you know, up its own butt about it, I guess is what I'm trying to see. Look, I'm not trying to make enemies, is the thing. Alright, so we're doing the host on this challenge. It also just goes to Mom, and it starts with 3 HP in the Mulligan. I'm not going to even talk about Spider Babby. Like, it exists. Spider Babby is basically like getting one extra bad item room in terms of its expected value, so, at least in my opinion, so I don't think that's particularly strong, but starting with the Mulligan is like an actual 10 out of 10 start, so if we lose an Isaac run where we essentially trade the D6 for the Mulligan, we don't deserve to beat this challenge first try anyway. All I'm saying is, can we all just get along? I'll start calling it snooker, but you got to admit, first off, it sounds Dutch. And secondly, maybe Swedish. Secondly, you got to admit an ale is a beer. Like, if I ask you what kind of drink is Newcastle Brown, and you said it's an ale, and I said, so it's a beer, and you said, no, it's an ale. I mean, around here, them's fighting words is all I'm saying. Because it's, you know, it's like, why are you trying to be better than me? It's a beer. It's just, it's swill that we put into our gullets, you know? It's the opiate of the masses to distract us from our inevitable... See, the thing is, you're being pedantic, is what I'm trying to get at. Okay. Dude, we can cement our victory, like, right here. That's, I don't have any more, like... I don't have any more UK metaphors. Going to the UK was very strange for me. And I'm going to explain why. See, that's how you introduce your essay topic while also giving yourself a few minutes to think about what you're going to say. It's not exotic to go from Canada to the UK. Because we're kind of like, as much as we're close to America as well, we're like a little amalgamation up here. We're half UK, half US. We're like the US, but we have HP sauce. And I've like been in households that have Bovril, you know? I understand. Now that one I might genuinely be mispronouncing. Okay, don't squander this one too soon. You know, I understand where you're coming from on that one. It's beef tea. Pew pew. Not bad, actually. But, you know, you go to the UK and you're like, what am I gonna eat? Okay, fried meats and potatoes. Or meats baked into a pie. It's not that exotic, you know? If I went to, like, Indonesia, I'd be eating some weird stuff. And that's apparently how I judge my, you know, how exotic a holiday is do I speak the language, and what the heck are those people eating over there? And I think there's some validity to that. But at the same time, Kate and I, you know, we've made a habit of going to Japan. And people think it's exotic. And it isn't not exotic, but it's also like, to get to Japan from Vancouver, it's like hopping a bus. It's like hopping on a 9-hour bus. It's long. I mean, that's long as far as flights go, but, you know, I've been on longer. For example, flying to the UK, that was like an 11-hour trip. We were lucky to get a direct flight, but anyway, nobody cares about flying. You know, we've been over this 20 times. But then, when you go to Japan, you're jet lagged, you take a sleep, you wake up at 6 a.m., and you're good for the rest of the time there. I never got over my jet lag being in the UK. So it was weird. I was like, I'm in accented Canada, except I feel like my brain is broken for 11 days straight. Anyway. More props to you over there. Keep it up. Double-decker buses, the London Eye, and accidentally going to the wrong pubs that are all owned by the same management group, apparently. Anyway, let's go for broke here. We have no spacebar items, so we'll take Book of Sin. Take Sister Maggie, just as a way to deal extra damage, and I think Sister Maggie may also serve as a Mulligan engine for us. She just smiled, gave me a Mulligan engine. My favorite British song. How strange. NL, that's an Australian song. Is it? Colin Hayes from Scotland. Did I just double back on you? Did I just pull a John McClane pistol duct tape to my back sort of move? I think it's conceivable. I really think, like, we should rethink continents. I just gotta be honest with you, okay? I love you. If you're watching this and you're American, I respect you, okay? I really do. Your country's done some amazing things. But it's going buck wild down there right now. You guys are like, everything's on fire. Everybody hates each other. It's manifesting itself in some ugly ways. It's just a mess. We got our own problems up here. I'm not gonna say that we don't, but I'm like, I'm out. America, enjoy, you know, stick with Mexico, Bermuda, the Caribbean, etc., all those countries in Central America. You can have North America. I want to form like a northern continent. It's us, the UK, and if the UK doesn't want to, you know, get back into a relationship that quickly, I guess I can understand. But, you know, we'll take Scotland and Ireland. I want Iceland and the Faroe Islands as well. We're very culturally different, but I think that'd be sick. Dude, we could like, hey, check out my friend. He's from Iceland. Or rather, he is Iceland. That would be cool. Not just as a status thing, but you're like, I'm gonna take a trip to my friend's house. He lives in Akureyri. Anyway, not ukulele. Different thing. Keep moving here. You're doing okay now. Still need to up our damage, though. 3.5 damage is making me a salty boy. You know, I wouldn't mind having Sweden, Norway, Finland up there. If we can get Denmark, why not? Estonia, you're welcome. Latvia, Lithuania, welcome. We're forming a new northern continent, okay? You're invited. I'll put aside my differences with the rest of Canadians as well. As far as I'm concerned, you're cool. You know, we gotta stop making fun of each other, though. You know, Alberta, I'll stop calling you Texas as long as you stop making fun of the fact that my province is on fire. Can we, like... It's on fire all the... Yeah, I know. It's expensive here. And it's on fire. And people are snooty. Okay. But, like... At least we don't have truck nuts. See, we could put these differences behind us. If we could... We gotta band together, okay? I'm just saying. Northern Continent 2020. I feel it coming. Think of the concerts, dude. Drake, The Weeknd, Bjork, Sigur Rós, various Danish artists, Peter, Bjorn, and John, ABBA, various Finnish artists, of which I'm sure there are many. Robin, probably. She strikes me as being up here. Jens Lekman. Other Swedish artists. Probably some Europop is what I'm thinking there. Anyway. I know what you're thinking. Oh, I'm in northern Germany. Can I be invited? I'm sorry. We gotta draw the line somewhere. It's nothing against you guys, but, you know, if we start letting northern Germany in, and then all of a sudden France is like, can we get in? And then America's like, but we're on the same latitude. And we gotta be, that's awkward. And we'll rejoice. It's like breaking up with your high school sweetheart for a bit in college, you know? America, we're like, until previous, like very recently, we were each other's #1 trading partner. I'm not even saying you're on the wrong path, although I think it's implicit. That's basically what I'm saying. But I think it would be better if we worked our stuff out separately for a while and then maybe reconvene in a set period of time and see how things look then, perhaps, you think, maybe? Anyway. Alright, this is kind of a moment of truth here. Should be a little scared about this situation. I actually got out scot-free. I feel very lucky that that worked out the way it did. Because Contract from Below could be good for us here. Either that, or I'm still down. I mean, I don't know the logistics of any of this because I'm just telling a joke, so believe in the Geneva Convention, it says you don't need to have a reasoning for every single one of your jokes, but it's been a while since I read the comedy section of that War Crimes Tribunal ruling. But I'm still down for the West Coast as well. You know, Cascadia. So just hit me up. I'm probably the guy you need to talk to if you're like the leader of Washington, Oregon, California. Then hit me up. We'll work something out, you know? I don't want to secede from the rest of Canada, necessarily. But I gotta admit, it would be pretty cool. Canada's like, you're at like a pretty okay party, right? But then there's like 4 people there that you really relate to, and you're like, do you guys just want to like go somewhere quieter? We can play like a board game or something. And they're like, yeah, that would be Cascadia. If we could just be like a sub-country in Canada, or in North America, I suppose, we could be like Greenland. Greenland's like a country that's not really a country. I'm trying not to offend my, like, you know, single Greenlandish viewer here, but you're like a country, but you're also Denmark. And I respect that. I kind of admire it in many ways. You know, you're like a derived class country. The base class is Denmark, and then you've inherited its laws and taxes, but then you got your own, you override your own methods in your own unique way. Yes, that was a joke about inheritance and programming, and then there's a pun because the capital of Greenland is a city called Nook, and am I proud of myself? I want to say no, but the truth is I am, so we're going to leave here. You know what? Let's go to the cursor. We need some, we probably don't need it, but we would like some herding power. We're not really crushing it right now. This is a great situation. Surprisingly great situation at that. We have 2 Yaras. Dude! Look at this. It was already a great situation, but then it became even greater. 1 Eternal Heart is worth nothing here. 1 Eternal Heart with 2 Yara runes is worth 2 full HP upgrades. Considering we only got 2 more floors to go after this, we're starting to pop. Why did I come back into this room? Anyway. I'm not trying to insult the place that anybody else lives. Again, I can't stress enough, Canada's got its own problems. Average price of a home in Vancouver is like $1.4 million or something right now. Whole province is on fire. Went camping, can't even have campfires because the whole province is on fire. Air pollution was like among the worst in the world because of the fires. Most of the time it's like quite gorgeous, but you know, you're breathing in like smoke from all over the freaking province here. Anyway, the point is, not to mention, you know, Vancouver in particular within Canada, within British Columbia, has its own nexus of drug abuse and mental health problems and, you know, burgeoning racism and et cetera, et cetera. And also, those snooty millennials with their $6 coffees. Probably the biggest problem out of all of those ones that I just mentioned. And I am not telling a joke. I am that millennial. Anyway, I'm just saying, dude. It's wild. It's the laziest capstone to any joke ever. It's wild. Yeah, man, it's wild. I mean, like, whoa. What's going on there? I mean, it's crazy out there. Other such comedian interstitials inserted as such. Anyway, speed down. I mean, I'm pretty close to taking that as a joke, but I don't know if this runs in joke territory yet. We're like one piercing shots upgrade away from being able to afford taking a speed downgrade. At which point I'd be a happy boy. But not quite there yet. Please give me a teleport card, the lovers. Not as good as a teleport card, but still very good. We might, I mean, you saw how close Wacka Wacka came to death. This shouldn't be nearly as bad because this run is actually great. It's pretty much exclusively because of the addition of the Mulligan, but still. We could also be using Acid Baby like a little bit more effectively. I'd be the first person to tell you that. So, you know, it's best to be using pills on rooms with enemies when you have Acid Baby, especially now that we've probably identified many, but so be it. What I'm asking for here, ideally, is if I could pick up, like, a tears or damage upgrade, because we could win this one all the way to Mom, all the way to Reno by R.E.M. Decent song. I mean, it's no Man on the Moon, it's no Stand, and I mean, it's definitely no Radio Free Europe, Talk About the Passion, etc., you know, from the college radio days. But the song's alright. I mean, it made it onto the best of. Automatic for the People era, you know, double-sided classic. Night Swimming, Deserves a Quiet Night, etc., etc. Michael, 5-striped gum. I don't know what I'm talking about. Dude, it's a damage upgrade. That's the kind of commentary you get when you gotta fight a champion version of Gertie for like 20 minutes. I mean, we should. We really should, actually. And straight up, we're burning, like, the midnight oil right now. So, I am going to be using bombs to kill enemies. I'm going to be using cards to get whatever I can get out of them. Which we probably should be doing on a regular basis. But, really, we're in a race against the clock at this point. Not a great use of a full health card, if I'm being real with you, but that's okay. But, you know, we got a newfound sense of the importance of this run, because we're getting that much closer to the end. This might be one of the few challenges, by the way, where we don't have the ability to actually even try to do boss rush. We were kind of on pace, but like every room that we do without getting substantially stronger is just slowing us down. Who would have thought this would be a slower run than Wacka Wacka? Which I'm now realizing I probably will never have occasion to say again. So you know what? Cheers to you, Wacka Wackinson. You're a Tolkien-esque cellar door. That's a phrase that's convenient to say. Hey. What do you guys like more, as far as the movies in this duology go? The Graduate or Postgraduate, starring Alexis Bledel? I don't know, because the sequel, it answered a lot of questions about the original. Like, you know, what does he do in the plastics industry? See, that's a... Wait, I can use the soundboard in Isaac videos. I just realized. Give me a second to not get killed on this room. It'll be something like, yeah, I really didn't like what they did with the sequel starring Alexis Bledel. Well, you know. Here's to you, Gilmore Girls alum, from the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. She was in that. You should check it on IMDb if you don't believe it. That's like my ideal, you know, Lindsay Lohan, The Limit Does Not Exist, Mean Girls climax. Probably a weird, awkward order for that sentence to go into. But anyway, you know, question that wins me pub trivia at the end of the day. Name all 4 of the members of the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Well, it's Alexis Bledel, Amber Tamblyn, America Ferrera, and who's the 4th Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants? I'll just look at a picture. It's a blonde lady. Is that Blake Lively? Yo, that's the second movie, though. Was she in the... Blake Lively was the other one. Who would have thought? Blake Lively, like... By far, I would say the most famous of those actresses now. I didn't even realize. She was like an also-ran. I knew everybody else. I never read the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants books or watched the movie, but I was aware of its existence. That sounds nefarious, but, you know, it's just not. It just happened to be on Earth when it came out. We should probably go to the shop and look for, like, Blue Candle or something like that, but you should also probably, like, mind your own business. You've been getting real nosy lately. Hypothetical straw man. Waiting in the sky. He'd like to argue with you, but he's a construct of your mind. He's a straw man. Dude, we got the ability to fly. We're gonna get some damage. This is a win. It's not like this has been a marathon episode. I mean, we're only 36 minutes in, but it's been, like, a little bit of a long one as far as, like, this challenge goes. 2 full health pills. We're set. And may actually still be able to get to boss rush, although we should pretty much just not care. Being at 7 damage is so good now. And I say it every time we got like a fly setup, but like for real, oh, I mean that stings a little bit, sir, but the more damage you have, the better off you are for so many reasons, one of which is just that your flies do more damage. So, you know, it's really like the rich get richer sort of situation. The better your flies are, the more efficient your flies become as a result of the fact that you need less of them to kill an enemy. Either way, even with the recent tiers downgrade, there should be pretty much no cause for alarm here. If we brick it up, something's gone terribly wrong. So I think we should probably just coast this one into the goalpost here. Be like Arsenal. Try to walk it in. Something, the It Crowd DAE. And, you know, I've never seen... Well, I've probably seen like 2 episodes of the It Crowd. I'm more familiar with Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, even though I haven't... I've seen it. It's kind of... it's come to more media attention lately. Maybe not. I'm not trying to hipster it up and be like, well, I knew about it before it was popular. Because it was recommended to me by someone who knew about it before it was popular. I knew about it when it was popular, but I've been seeing more Garth Marenghi's Dark Place references pop up recently. So what happened with you and this Renwick customer? Anyway, it's a good show. I'd recommend it if you're interested in shows. If you like watching entertainment programs, it's a good one. I would recommend watching it. You know what I wouldn't recommend watching? Thor the Dark World. Okay, I'm not going to go back down that tangent. It's just unnecessary at this point. Poor Chris Hemsworth. He's been through enough. Okay, we're done on pretty flies. We're set. It's over. Keep full health because we can use that to poison Mom if necessary. Oh my god. At this point, this is... If there's one problem with Isaac, this is it right here where you're just like... At least on some of the challenges, you're like, I've won. Just take me to your leader. Here's my impression of someone who's never read Harry Potter trying to get a synopsis of it. Take me to Dear Reader. Okay, I don't even know what Dear Reader is. Isn't that a YouTube series based on Harry Potter or something? Anyway. Dear Reader, my name is Potter, hooray! Dear reader, got a magical array of spells. My friends is Ron, Hermione too. They're all wizards, and I am too. Dear reader, my name is Potterary. Okay, that's Dear Prudence, one of the most beautiful songs ever written by me. I got no bombs. I got no bombs, but I must blow, you know? It's one step closer. Here, please excuse me. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. I'm a man, Potter. Hooray! Been a wizard for long. Okay, you know. You get the idea. What do you... Oh, you know, I mean, maybe, like, I don't know. Sure, flying's pretty sick. But, like, so is tapping this button 30 times and killing Mom because our damage is okay. I think you gotta give this item some respect at this point. Paid for itself, like, extremely literally. The muggles always told me what's right is right. Got a scar that looks like a bolt of lightning. Sky rockets into... Okay, I can't just do... Having... There's a series for you. Man who read one Harry Potter book when he was 10 makes up songs about Harry Potter using popular American music as touchstones. Anyway, it's the Polaroid. We made it. Dude, what do we get for that one? Tech Point 5, that's a great item. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. But for now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.